Good morning, Quasar Markets Live. You have your host, Howard Greenberg, here with you this great Monday morning. And I'm so happy, like every morning, to have my friend Stephen Big Beat, or the CEO and founder of Quasar Markets. How are we doing today, Stephen?
I'm good, Howard. How are you, man? Did you have a good weekend?
I did. I had a pretty good weekend with the family, and it's a lot more fun to wake up and have green, green, green showing you instead of red, red, red. Um, even like I don't have a lot in there for that won or lost by this, but it just makes it more fun to talk about. I think. How about you?
Yeah, look, it's very simple. We've had the worst week since 2022 in the markets last week, and I call this, and those of us that are institutional traders, it's a relief rally. It's a rally that's allowing a break in the selling a little bit. We talked about this on Friday. I ain't scared, meaning that some of the selling just didn't feel correct. It just felt like it's a little overdone and overcooked. Um, we've been saying that it is stairs up, elevator down. We know how that works, right? When people just get scared, they just dump everything. They don't know what they're doing. And I was asked over the weekend, is this dumping? And I'm like, no, not really. To me, it feels like a rebalance of portfolios. It's too heavy tech. It's too heavy this, trying to put it something else. But guess what? It's still tech. So I'm not too concerned. I see right now the NVIDIA 104 now up at 1.1%. Nasy's already up almost 230 points. I'm not scared right here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my next question would be about the holding power of the market today. Do you think we'll see any? Because we've sort of said it when we're both in a bullish bias towards the market in general right now,
Yeah.
cyclically, and so we definitely agree there. My question is, can we see strength come through? I like what I'm seeing out of Bitcoin so far because a lot of times you can see what happens as the Asian market opened last night, with Bitcoin, and we've seen a nice move up there. It bounced off the levels. Those that watched my show on Friday, when I broke down Bitcoin, we're still in that, flag, pretty nice and firm on the daily chart that we had talked about. So, we're still right in there. It just needed
Yeah, I
not
mean,
to
I didn't get
close.
scared over the weekend. I mean, I started to buy even more. As I always say, always have powder, so you buy. You're right. Look, you've got those numbers almost pegged, and you didn't blow through 53. So guess what? It's a good buying opportunity, and this morning we're all waking up happier in the crypto markets. I look. If the world's going to hell in a handbasket, then crypto's a place to be. If the market's going good, then crypto's a place to be. It's when it's the market's in
Yeah.
malaise,
Well,
right?
this is one of those where there's no correlation because everything's up. In other words, I was looking, oil's up, gold's up. Your safe havens are up. Your risky investments are up. I like you said. I think it's the fear. Let's take a look at the VIX. We call it. We know it's not a fear gauge, but it is. It's a talk of volatility here, and we see that's down another 5%. We're right back at that median level almost. 20 to me is almost exactly the median. So there's still a little bit of fear. I get that. China, right? China's still not looking great. I think what it is everybody's saying things are priced in because it isn't rosy, right? You've talked about a recession's on the way. We both are in that camp.
You'll believe that.
I think that's also probably something that's funny for people to hear. We're definitely not perma bears. We're looking at what's the market in front of us. When we are bearish to the economy, we are bullish for stock prices right now because I think there's money on the sideline, as you've talked to a lot. I think we're going to see, the move out of that yen carry trade. That's going to get into now more tech stock money, money available to go into these things. Yields are going to start coming down, so the treasuries won't be as lucrative, or shorts won't be. So, that's the things I'm looking at. Is that how you're looking at it too?
Well, there's two things that I think that people need to be keeping their eye on here, and we're still talking about it. We talked about that on Friday. Is the dollar index, the Dixie, still sitting at 101.56, 59 now. It's pretty much sitting still here at the 101, 102. I know it dipped over on Thursday and Friday a little bit to the 100 handle there. That's one thing. And the second thing we talked about, I know that they don't equal the sessions out, but if you look at silver, it's up 0.7%, and Bitcoin's up 0.7%. I mean,
That's
these
what I was talking about. Yeah, gold is up 0.14, silver up 0.7. I see Brent crude actually just ruined my day. They Brent just went down negative. But regular U.S. was up. Let me see. Did I jinx us?
Yeah, I see regular oil, crude oil, WTI was West Texas Intermediate. If you know the
Right.
difference out there, he's talking about Brent North Sea crude. That's sweet crude, meaning that it is easier to refine and more expensive. It's also more expensive because of where it comes out of. It comes out of very heavy waters off the coast of UK, whereas West Texas Intermediate sometimes comes out of both maybe a little bit less deep as the horizon area of the Gulf, as well as West Texas Intermediate being coming out of Texas, being pumping right out of the ground. Um, there's two things here also, interestingly enough, about oil. The first thing is demand. Right now, the demand for oil is pretty low because there's a glut at the refineries. If you don't know, we haven't produced a new refinery in about 20 years, and the refineries are hurting right now. They don't, and we're seeing a lot of people not driving nearly as much. Demand for oil is not nearly as high as it had been. But people think of oil only as gasoline. That's if we can get into that today, but the crack spread, that's the difference between oil and gasoline and a few other things. The crack spread is starting to widen a bit. And when that starts to happen, gosh, $68 a barrel, we could get down to 65. That depends. It seems like the not getting political, but the White House seems to be a little bit sleepy on the buying for the SPR here. So
You hit two things I wanted to say right there. Is it's funny. First one is, yeah, we've actually lost about 400 million barrels of demand since early July.
yeah,
So we have seen that. That was from CNBC where I got that information,
hmm,
and that comes to about 7 million barrels a day. And then secondly, I was going to ask you because Biden had talked about he was going to refill at certain levels. We've passed through those levels, and we
yeah.
haven't seen any buy. I saw my gas was 289. Now I live in a place where gas is extremely competitive, but 289 was nice, to see that. Seemed a little, we don't get very political here, but I had a laugh because I was like, man, that just seems a little funny to me.
Must be election time. Look,
Yeah,
let's not get conspiracy, but the truth of the matter is that with oil down as it is, the glut out there, but gasoline is at the pump. Most people don't know this, but about 30 to 35% of it is taxes.
taxes.
Not
Right. I live in Ohio where that's like we have crazy low prices. Like I moving from DC to here, it just blows my mind. And then I was in California recently and $6 prices for gas. Like my God, you take someone from Ohio to go out there, they almost have a coronary. You can't let them drive.
they don't know what to do. Let's talk about one stock today. I think it's important is Boeing, BA. That's definitely
Absolutely.
they definitely got that contract done. They still have their issues there. I don't expect Boeing to push, but I do like the fact that Boeing is got new orders. I think a lot of people don't really realize that Boeing's orders are so backed up right now. They've got their early issues here. I understand Starliner's a problem. They came back without the astronauts. I know they need to fix some bigger problems with the 777 Max. But yeah, and let's be honest, I was just in New York not too long ago, and I saw the 777 Max. It was sitting next to us. That is a behemoth. That thing is a
Yeah.
machine. It's really, really a next Marvel level of airplanes, where people, have more comfort. Air in the plane is a lot more comfortable. They clean the air in it. It's just crazy how cool it is. And once they get that fixed, I just don't think that Boeing's going to be at the 160 handle. I think it could be $300. Um,
Yeah, I mean,
be,
and this was a big deal. We talked about, strikes or fear of strikes was hurting a lot of companies across the U.S. So you can strike a company off of that list now with Boeing, settling with 33,000 workers, in the machinists for them. And they also made it clear they're going to build in the U.S., they're going to build in the Pacific Northwest, and they committed to that. So I do think that was
yeah,
big. It will add to that wage inflation though that we talked about too. There,
yeah,
I think they got 25% raise over the next 4 years. They were looking for 40% or so. So the good part that I liked out of it was, you didn't hear anybody bitching coming out of this meeting. Both sides, Boeing seemed to be happy with the deal, and the union was happy with the deal. Both have had really positive results, and I hadn't seen that a lot. Again, we talked about, when after the UPS ones, UPS didn't come out talking rosy about the union and about the deal they had just made, whereas the union walked out, celebrating. This was one where it seemed to be a win-win, and I like to see that. That was great to say.
Yeah, Boeing to me has a lot of orders. Just they're back ordered up to the wazoo, 5, 6 years. I mean, it's not easy to make a plane. I mean, it really
Yeah.
isn't. And that's why we have older planes. That's why we have mechanics out there. I think there's a mechanics shortage, so that's a problem. Also, let's talk about one more thing. I'm moving a little bit the needle here a little bit. Is the banks? I saw this morning where the FOMC is saying to the banks they don't have to have as stringent requirements of holding cash in the bank. That's the first sign the banks aren't doing so well. When you pull back a little bit and say, okay, you don't have to have as much cash, but you got to have something else. Well, what else are you going to have in the bank except cash? The only thing that you have now is land and homes on the sidelines, right? They're investing in these, and the price of homes have not been going up. We've
Right,
seen the
right.
buyers of
Um,
homes.
I think this speaks to a couple of things on my notes here I had to ask you about because this seems to be a lever that you and I didn't really talk about. We talked about they don't have many, but this has a way to do this because you lessen these requirements, right? And this is going all the way back to Basel III,
Yep.
requirements that came out of the 2008 financial crisis, where banks, we have given some insight, some backside rather, where the banks weren't holding enough money, they had risky loans, and when they defaulted, it caused all these issues. So they've changed those. They made them very stringent. We've heard the Jamie Dimons and the other folks rail about it a lot.
Yep.
So now they're talking about for the first time looking at this since 2008 and lessening it. So I do think it's a big deal. And I think it's a good one. I want to see how much it is and all that. We just saw that there's a change. It's going to take a while to decipher it all. They've changed like 450 out of the 1,000-page document, but I do think that that's pretty good to see, and get a little bit of a lever there because it's going to lessening, the grip on the banks having to hold all that money. They'll be able to give out more loans. So therefore, that should have a net positive, right? I thought again that was a net positive for me in my notes over the weekend.
It is, except for the fact that rates are coming down, right? So the 10-year now 3.74, 3.45. Yeah, wow. That means that banks aren't making as much money off your money. But if the rates come down, so they can pay you less money for your money cash in the bank, and they have to hold less, then obviously that could become a problem. Um, it's a very big balancing act, and I'm not sure that the FOMC, and is prepared for that. I know I saw Janet Yellen saying that we're still going to have a soft landing, everything is fine. When I see things like that, I think of Baghdad Bob, oh, nothing to see here, and everything's blowing up behind you.
Right, right.
Even when the Federal Reserve is now talking about job losses, and they don't want to, want people to lose their jobs and get mad at them. Um, it's too late. It's too little, too late right now. I think you mentioned this morning that the percentages now have come down for a quarter, 25 bips now as opposed to 50. That's interesting to me now. I think people are starting to come into it. You made a good mention this morning that you feel like people feel like the markets are weighted correctly now as opposed to in the past. I don't think so. I still think that we're not. I think they're just nervous because why? It's September the 9th. We have October, and that's pretty much it. I mean, if you think
Wow.
about it, we're about 2 months away from an election, 60 days away, and that to me tells me just about everything, right? People are worried about who the president's going to be, and I will tell you all the same thing. Don't care. The trading, you just trade the game in front of you. You play it. You make sure that you're invested correctly and that you don't worry about, if you're buying lots of oil and Trump loses, all right, that's a problem, right? But a balanced portfolio is the key to wealth generation. So, don't be all too tech heavy. Don't be this, but And I'm as guilty as anybody, Hondo. I'm tech heavy myself. I'm pretty heavy in Nvidia.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's hard, when you see them, reach levels that they were to have that momentum, and then for put out a good earnings report, give good guidance, and sort of drop. You got to take advantage of it. That's that is definitely part of it. Going back to Boeing, on the downside
Mm.
for them, but on the plus side for tech, like you said, SpaceX getting ready, hopefully to launch maybe Tuesday. What's the weather like down by you? Is it, well, they do they launch out of Texas? Um,
Atlanta's out of Florida. We'll see. But if you're asking the weather in Florida, it's been rainy the last bit, so it's going to continue. We
yeah,
have
I
a little
saw forty
storm here.
percent chance that they launch on Tuesday, and this would be the first commercial spacewalk. So for us nerds, that's some pretty cool stuff. With that, learned a new acronym. Do you ever know that any team means no earlier than?
I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah, that was on all of the press releases that I was reading. It's going to be no earlier than Tuesday at 8 a.m. or whatever it is. So yeah, that was a new one for me. So I like that. But that speaks to the tech sector too. Is that part of it that you can't step away from it? Is that it's in your face every day? The technology. Today's Apple Day, your favorite day, as a man that is just pure Apple play. A couple of things there that was interesting. We've watched that together a few different times in different rooms that and things that we're in, and it's usually a big nothing burger. It actually has only moved the Apple price about 0.3% on average. I was sort of surprised by that.
You know, I think when you Apple is the largest holding in the world, right? Everybody, that's the most held stock ever. Um, which is why when people sell it and people buy it, it's not a big move. You're going to see a bounce at 4:30 when the Easter time when the release happens. But I'm not looking at that much at all.
Right. And it's one of those ones that sells off usually really quickly
Yeah.
on there. But
And
Apple
I'm just
is
looking at the launch. SpaceX is launching on September the 12th in 3 days at 4:52 a.m. It is out of the Cape, Cape Canaveral for those of you who don't know Floridians, out of the Cape. And guess what satellites are going to have on it? They're going to have AST.
Oh, really? The ASTS we were looking at the other day. Let's see if that's moved their needle at all. They are up 2.8% on that news. There you go.
Bitcoin just took off there on 55.5 there.
Gotta like to see that. I did notice on the bad news, again, a lot of outflows out of the ETFs, about 1.8 billion. Well, I'll be interested to look today to see if that sort of subsides. It's easy to check that stuff out. I'll look at that later today with you guys here on Quasar Markets Live. Gold did rallied up a little bit today, up about a quarter a point. Silver jumping, like you said, Bitcoin, silver. It's usually a good sign when those are jumping in the morning to lead us into a pretty decent day. So, I also just think people realized the sky wasn't falling. I think that we had some, when we were at those valuations with some of these tech stocks and the S&P and QQQ at certain rates. I think that some investors were just a little jittery, and I think that was part of it. You saw it because the swings made no sense. They were quick, they were fast, they were big. So I do think part of that is in play. Getting back to Apple, the thing I'll be watching for today, Steve, is to see if they mention anything about generative AI being built into the phone. What are we seeing there as the next wave? We've seen some cool stuff come out from Google and Meta and others. Well, they have some cool bells and whistles, because those are the things I think they do well, bells and whistles. So I like to see if they got some of those coming for us. And I am an iPhone user, so they had gapped up a little bit at pre-market and broke above 223 there, giving a little bit of that back now.
I will tell you one thing that I'm really liking is Google is their chart on the long side here. Uh, they that RSI, if you add stochastic RSI to your system,
Straight G or
um,
with the L at the end?
no, L, sorry. Uh, if you look at stochastics and the RSI on that, that is a brilliant looking chart for me. I like this on the daily chart. Man, I tell you, Google is to me feels like it's just oversold. Oh, there you go, Bitcoin. There you go.
They did have a
Dollar.
little bit of news on Google today about, again, we've said that this tends to negatively affect the stock when it shouldn't, but a little bit of talk on antitrust there in the U.S. and new suit getting filed today.
You know what's interesting with antitrust, and everybody here knows I'm not a fan of sometimes some of the people in the administration, Lena Khan, for example, and Gary Gensler. I've seen where a lot of the big donors, and not to get political here, want those two people out. I agree with that. Lena Khan has cost a lot of people jobs and a lot of money in this country. And I think that Gary Gensler is not a very good SEC chair. And I think those two are going to be out no matter who wins the election.
I hope that's the case too. I actually saw a write up from Deutsche Bank that was talking about how the U.S. was showing how the U.S. has fallen behind in patents when it comes to tech over the last 4 years,
Yes.
and a lot of that was in the blockchain space. I was looking at that, in those regards, and it really was disheartening to see. It really
We've
is.
been calling for. We know this, Howard. I mean,
Yeah, I mean that's what I work
when
on
you
that,
cycle
and
it, what do
it's
you expect? Yeah.
yeah. I mean that's what our ABCA works on, but it fell on deaf ears. But it does seem, I will say that there is engagement now, and we are seeing positive movements from both sides. Even Harris's PACs are accepting crypto donations, so we're seeing a lessening of it. You still have the same people that are the same problems. Like you said, Gensler. You could throw Warren and a few of the others in the Senate in there that aren't helping those matters there. So
Old people doing old things. All right.
what about
Okay. So let's get
eight?
to it. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about a couple of the changes to the S&P 500 that came about on Friday. We saw Palantir PLTR get a nice bump on their addition. We saw Dell and Erie Insurance, one of my insurance companies for my car, made it. So wanted to get your take on that. Falling out, American Airlines. That was one that kind of surprised me there. Didn't you just think of them as such a stalwart? But they're out. You can see here that was the move from Palantir today. Shot up through a bunch of different resistance zones here on the hourly chart. Now up at about 32.75.
I had a dinner in New York about 4 months ago, and people were saying to me, Palantir is a crappy company. I disagree with them. They have changed their tune. They're working on so many new projects, and Palantir is going to be doing quite well. And here we go, up 8% today. If you look at a daily chart on Palantir, you'll see exactly what I've been talking about for a while. I think for me that the company itself is still getting its footing, but I think the footing's pretty strong right now. So yeah.
I think another thing for them is they're not sexy. People don't know. They don't have a product that anybody uses, and people don't realize that what they do is they build most of the software that the government uses, and service
Almost
it.
all of it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, literally that they are like again, being in DC as long as you were and I was, you see them there and you know what a big player they are. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're just not a sexy play. They're one again. That's a great looking chart on the daily. Look at that. That's like Bitcoin during the bull run.
Yeah.
Up one pullback, half as much as it was. That's exactly what we want to see, following everything in a TA way. And, I mean, that looks real nice. But Palantir, Dell, another one that's made a resurgence in life. They were sort of written off for dead for a while, in my opinion, and has sort of found their way under the CEO from a couple of years ago. And you can see, back in 2023, they were trading 60.
The gold market here, 25.01. It seems to be holding pretty steady here. I think we're just waiting for the open here. We've got about 5 minutes here to the open.
Yeah,
Good old IBM still pushing higher here.
did see that. Also, IPO, we do have that first one. MBX Bioscience is going to go out this week. They're looking to sell 8.5 million shares at $14 to $16 each. It will get them about 136 million of the upside comes in, and it would value the company at about 483 million. They are a biotech company. There are a couple of biotechs going, the next two big IPOs. Also saw a couple of things on the M&A front. Permira upped their bid for Squarespace almost 2%, and that had that market moving in pre-markets here. Up about 2%. The bid comes in at about 46.50, so still trading a little bit below that, but was trading about 45.30. So a little bit again of companies M&A. Same thing, Big Lots I saw. They are going through a sort of acquisition from Nexus Financial. So we're seeing some money come in to save a couple of ailing companies. We're seeing some M&A in the space. We're seeing some IPOs. You know, those are things that happen when the market's, at least healthy. So I like to see that.
Yeah, I'm looking at ARM Holdings here, ARN. That's pushing here too as well. Almost wiping away Friday's losses.
That is a nice bounce.
We could have a nice little run here today. All right, got about 2.5 minutes here to the open. Just looking at, man, good old-fashioned UNH, United Health, still pushing higher. Yes, there was a little bit of a pullback on Friday, but if we can break that 600 handle again, I think it goes right on up to 610, 620. Keeps right on pushing.
They have been the darling of healthcare, haven't they?
I think a lot of people are going to the doctor, getting that weight loss drugs, and seems that United Health is just sitting at the forefront of that.
Yeah, speaking of that, I did see that Terns Pharmaceutical was up 27% today, pre-market after announcing that their early stage trial on an obesity drug had some really positive effects. So Terns was a big move, a pre-market here.
I think Mr. Michael Saylor today is a pretty happy camper, back up to, the 52-week range on MSTR is 200, and we're sitting at 118.84. And with Bitcoin not being completely slaughtered here, the day range of yesterday or Friday was 113.69 was low there, and the high was 124. It's right in the middle there on MSTR. I'm liking Mr. Saylor. If you look at a 200-day moving average, if you can add a moving average to your chart, look at that thing. Wow, that is bouncing right off that thing. Huh.
And for those that don't know, because of the amount of Bitcoin that MicroStrategy holds, their stock is almost a leverage play of the Bitcoin market.
Look at that. Whew.
It held back on August 5th when we had the big market downturn. Held there. You can see how it recovered last time from these ranges. 118 back to 188. If Bitcoin runs, it will run. Like I said, it's definitely a levered play. It moves further on the rise of Bitcoin. Okay, we are 1 minute out here. 1 minute until the market opens. So far, we're looking at
Nvidia up 2% here. Woohoo!
SPY up about 0.82%. NASDAQ almost a point here. Another thing that's interesting, like we said, with everything almost being green today, you see it even the Russell small cap, something I've put up into our little watch list there to keep an eye on the small caps, up almost 0.75 of a point too. So we're seeing Like I said, the only thing that wasn't playing nice was Brent crude at one point. Otherwise, we were looking, and we are
All right.
open. Look at all
Yeah.
that green. Love
Yeah,
it.
it's going to be a green day today. I think the zero DTEs are done with the short side. Wow, there you go, Nvidia. Goodbye. See ya. Off to the races.
Nvidia up 2.44%. Man, I'll tell you, this is also what you're seeing a lot for those that don't know, some of your new traders out there. Um, right at open 9:30 till 10:30, there's a huge group of option scalpers that play the market. Michael Shore at Prosper Trading Academy, one of the people who teaches this, Jeremy Vreeland, Bullish Bulls, guys that are both contributors here on Quasar Markets Live. They have big trading rooms. And these guys, this is what they're playing. This volatility, they play the first half hour, 45 minutes of the day is like 90% of their trades. They'll come in to our like Slack channel at 10:15 and say, yeah, I had 9 winning trades, 2 losing trades, or I had this and that. So I think that's another thing that moves these things so quickly in the beginning, don't you, Steve?
Oh, always. I'm not a big fan of zero DTEs, as everybody knows here.
Um, yeah, and they do. They work on well. Mike doesn't work on zero DTT. I mean, he does buy their weeklies, but he's working off of this Fridays.
Oh yeah, no. If you don't know,
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of Michael Shore.
yeah. So they run it. Yeah, they're not zero DT in it. They're not that crazy in his system. He's unbelievable. Everything looking good here. Looking to see what rising. We'll say it looks like my cohort at retail taking a little bit of a hit here as we look through. Last week was a darling for retail. This week we're seeing Nordstrom's right now down a little over 2%. Kohl's down 1.31.
Still
Foot
going on
Locker,
Nvidia.
Foot Locker down 2.33. So it looks like the only one really taking a hit so far, opening up today that I'm seeing big time, is retail. Most others green. The beverage stuff I watch on the watch list all looking green.
We are now 3% now on Nvidia.
Even Dollar Tree that had gotten slaughtered was down in pre-markets back to even. Silver trying to hold up too. Bitcoin 55,379.
There's 106, just broke on Nvidia.
Wow, 3% right there.
I am not scared. It's what I said last week. I wasn't scared. That we've already cleaned all of the Friday's losses are gone. Yeah, Bitcoin trying again here. Cocoa back up another 2% today.
VIX dropping down here almost to the 2080 point. We mentioned that a little earlier. 20 is really about the midpoint.
3.5%.
So it's sort of neutral there. Nvidia 3.5. Wow, Qualcomm, one of your favorites, up 2.29 here and moving up nicely. Looks like China getting hit. Again, another topic that we can't get away from is the weakening Chinese economy. Timu's parent company PDD down another 2.57 here. Alibaba down 0.75. So Chinese e-commerce also getting hit right now.
106.50 now. Wow, there could be on Nvidia. That could be that nice little run there. It's still not stopping there. Look at that. Dollar is pushing right here, 101.57. So it could be the end of the run. Yeah, I had a feeling that was the end of the run.
4 minutes. I hope that's not the end of the run.
That was a nice little run. I like that run.
It was. I mean, it was moving. Bitcoin trying to get above 55.5 here again right now. Apple's another one that I said they have their earnings today that doesn't seem to get a whole bunch of love to me. Pull up their chart here.
I'm showing Apple now in the red here.
Yeah, down 0.23%. Same thing, Cloudbox down. So seeing a couple of the tech stocks getting hit here. Tesla now up 3.4%. So Tesla just it hit lows of 209 on Friday before rebounding.
Nasdaq now 280 points here. It's interesting to see Dow and the Nasdaq up together today.
The Russell small cap has turned negative now.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of buying the Russell over the last week. I'm just not a big fan of the Russell right now.
Well, I think that cyclical move already happened.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was in anticipation of the rates being cut.
Yeah. Okay.
Nvidia dropping quite heavily here. I had a feeling that was where the top was, 106.50 there. Let's see if we can get another run here. I think we will get another run. There we go, 106.11 again.
There we go.
Yeah, I think some of those selling was a little silly there on that top there. Yeah, I thought so. Need to catch up. There was some profit taking. Everybody here knows I'm totally for profit taking.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But we could just be seeing a relief rally, is what I said on Friday, which would be a relief rally.
My question is, like I said, how long does it last today? I don't see us filling gaps to the bottom back to where we were, but will we continue to move up? Two-year Treasury yield now near the lowest since 2022. Seeing a lot of articles trying to prop up that the real estate market is not as bad as it is lately, Steve. I don't think there's the smoke where the fire is there. I think the market's still not back yet. There, but I've seen a lot of like really bullish new, slanted news towards real estate. Oh, with that being said, I see builder sentiment just fell as mortgage rates and home prices stayed elevated.
We have at 10 o'clock. We do have wholesale inventory. I am interested in wholesale inventory numbers and wholesale sales month over month, expecting their prior reading down to minus 0.6. On wholesale inventory month over month, we're expecting a positive by 0.3%. If we see some wholesale inventory growing a little bit, that could be a problem. Oh, there you go. Nvidia now 106.40 now, trying to get that high. There you go. Come on, Bitcoin.
Yep.
SMCI now up almost 3.12%.
Bitcoin's going to hit some resistance here, 55,900 level, so that's going to be the next spot to watch.
If Nvidia can break this one,
Tesla,
there we go. High today.
You got Boeing, Tesla, Nvidia trying to do their things here.
We have tested that high twice on NVIDIA. Now let's try to see if we can break it. We can go right on up. Oil continues to slip here now. 67.69 a barrel. Just cannot hold here.
On your crazy pumpers of the day, you got SINT here. SINT up 121%. You know, again, these micro pumpers. That's crazy. INBS, another one. Up about 62%. That's Intelligence Biosolutions. Seems like they're focused in these healthcare stocks.
They're hunting for places to make some alpha.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they find them. I mean, it's not just one or two a day. I mean, there's already, I'm looking at like 5 of them here. SMMT.
Oh, the good old SMMT. Okay.
Summit Therapeutics.
Yep.
77% up here.
We're seeing Kramer talking about Tesla now on
Oh,
CNBC.
don't do that. Come on. I was having fun.
Oh, we're seeing a tick drop here about just dropped out of bed there.
Well, because Mr. Kramer said something. Another pumper, Tonix Pharmaceuticals.
Oh, TNXP.
Yeah. Up about 49% here this morning. Now that's actually on Solid News. I'm seeing here across the TradingView ticker. Tonix Pharmaceuticals says a monkeypox vaccine effective in animal tests.
I tell you what else is interesting. We'll got to keep our eye on. Unfortunately, is dengue fever here. We need to be careful here in the States because we are seeing some cases in South Florida of actual dengue fever. Believe it or not. So
I don't know what that one is, Steve.
That's Mr. Africa. Dengue fever is not good. It's mosquito borne. Yeah.
Great. You gave me one more thing to worry about now to go with the murder hornets and other things that keep me up at night. JP Morgan saying stick to defensive stocks here as short-term yields dive.
Yeah, and I am looking at
monkeypox. India says the monkeypox case involving the traveler is not from the current outbreak. That's actually bad news, right? Because that means it was somewhere else also.
We're seeing crude oil down the lows of the day. Session is 67 and 63 here. Bitcoin trying to go again here. 55.5.
As you've said, you know, the problem there is that a lot of these companies aren't profitable at under $70 a barrel, right?
No, that's correct. Yes.
U.S. Steel, I'm seeing, got an upgrade from JP Morgan here from a hold to a buy. Price target went from 42 or 42.42 here. So we know, and in the note said that they don't think the deal's dead here with Nippon Steel. I don't know if I agree with that.
We're seeing some slippage now in the markets. Had a feeling that was going to happen. So for the most part, if you're in WTI, West Texas Intermediate, and you're in the Permian Basin, you need about $62 a barrel to stay profitable. If you're a driller, shall we say. If you are looking to companies that already have oil wells and they're already pumping, existing, it's roughly about $40 a barrel, something like that, that they need. So they're still profitable at this price, but they like those oil prices up so that they can make heavy profits. So oil companies should be doing quite well right now. I'm going to, there you go. I think I'm going to send you that link if you want to show people this link here.
There you go. Just send it to me on. Steve, where did you send me that one?
To you know, in the side.
Oh, there it is. Okay, sorry.
Wow, Nvidia just dropped a whole dollar there. Some serious dumping there.
Tesla holding up. Here you go, Steve. Oh, I gotta take it from yours. Sorry.
Yeah, tick just dropped there. Apollo's Torsten Slock now says that the U.S. is not in a recession and there are no signs of one on the horizon. Says the U.S. economy is seen as resilient.
Well, that's good.
Meaning that they think.
Pull this up. Oh, that's a paywall, Steve. Sorry.
Sorry, I'll get it for you.
Yeah, sorry about that. If you want to pull it up, I'm gonna have your screen up.
Oh, it's okay.
Tesla dropping down, so we are seeing the tech get hit across here now, down to 17.33. So we did see that. We are seeing that sell off again to 947.
Yeah, that's that first 14 minutes, right? That we just talked about.
It's gone from a full half hour, unfortunately, to just a matter of minutes. Amex's share moving up here. Tesla down at 216.65 here, so definitely seeing the luster come off some of these.
Ticker U, Unity Software up almost 5% here. That's a big trader up and down.
Yeah, a lot of volatility in Unity. There's been a lot of speculation there lately.
Still seeing some selling here in NVIDIA. Tick now up 150. We're going to make another run here, I think. Apple now down $2 on the day.
On the downside, seeing symbol EGIO. EGO down 65% here. Okay. Tesla now down below 216. Nvidia back almost at 105. So as Steve had mentioned there, we are seeing the luster come off here.
I think I called that top there pretty close.
Yeah. Still green, with just green moving the wrong way. Let me McKesson trying to make a little move up here, up about 1%.
Another run here in Bitcoin here. Could see a pop here to the top. There we go, there you go, Nvidia. Get back up there.
Bulls are fighting here. The Bulls are fighting.
Yeah, I just don't think that the Bears just have as much control anymore. They were in control as some institutions were selling a little bit, but they really weren't selling a whole lot.
Our RSI starting to get up on Bitcoin. Boeing still up 3.27%. I mean, Nasdaq's up over a point, and you can't complain about that. As we said, it's not a straight line up. Gonna be some bumps in the road. We'll say was in my Costco this weekend. Did seem to me that they're busier than they will, not being as affected as much as some of the other retail. That's COST, Costco.
Oh, there we go. It did pop. There goes Bitcoin, 55.6 now.
Yeah. Getting towards the top of that hourly linear regression, you got to keep an eye on also. A lot of retail starting to turn negative on the day that had been up here.
Retail hasn't been quite right lately.
No, they've been one they've seen some love in the mornings, like we said, pre-market hours, and seems to sell off into it. Silver up still, 0.6%.
Palantir now up almost 12% here on the day. Wow. PLTR. United Airlines, Tesla now up 2.36%. JP Morgan up almost 1.6%. DJT, that's a Donald Trump stock, that media stock, now up almost 10%. MSTR, we talked about that this morning, now up 7.3%. There it is, 65.7 now.
Well, like we said, MSTR pretty much a leverage play on Bitcoin. So Bitcoin goes up, 1.5. You see that kind of jump in MSTR always. Seeing some unusual option news coming in here on AAL, Tesla, Nvidia. Seeing some call buying on the December 20th Tesla, about 40,000 change in open interest. Oh, a big one. AAL on the downgrade. Well, not a downgrade, but I'm moving out of the S&P. I'm seeing 70,000 put strikes being put in on the $10 strike on AAL. Let me pull up that chart. Bitcoin trying to hold 55,650 here. There's AAL. Trading 11.05. $10 puts. 70,000 of them. Wow. Nvidia back above 105 here. Tesla back above 216.
Seems like everything's kind of chilling out a little bit, though.
Yeah. Nvidia unable to stay above 106. That seems to be the spot so far this morning.
Yeah, but it's had a nice little run, though, which is kind of nice.
Yep, absolutely. I think people be up happy up over 2%.
Yeah, there you go. 55.7 now on Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's continuing to move up. Nasdaq still above 1.15 here for the day. Again, gappers up this morning. Dell, Palantir, ARM, Boeing, Tesla, SMMT. So we see some moving up in the right direction. Tesla struggling at the 217 level. Qualcomm up almost 2% today. Apple down more than a half a point now.
There we go. A little pop now in Nvidia now back again. There you go. We've been talking about it. I think the markets are okay.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's UNH
I think
getting hit here, Steve. Now down 1.89% on the day. So that one turned
it is.
around here. UNH.
Yeah, it might have been some little bit of profit taking in there. I'm just,
Humana getting hit pretty hard here too.
it says yeah. I'm not really seeing any reason behind it though.
I'm gonna check Humana here, see if there's some kind of sympathy reasons going down.
There you go. 106 now back on Nvidia there.
Nice.
I'm just gonna stay long Nvidia. I'm okay with all of this. I didn't like the sell off. I thought it was overdone. But no, I think I'm okay.
Not seeing a lot of news to have this Humana down either. Just sort of maintained as an outperform by a few different analysts. So nothing too crazy.
Starting to see Bitcoin 55.8 there, testing that top there. We can get to 56. That'd be nice, huh?
Yeah, I mean the next spot, if it breaks 59, this area right here, like you said, if it breaks 60, it's got decent room. Or excuse me, if it breaks 59, 850, it's got room to 60.
There we go, Mr. Nvidia. 106.08 now, 106.10. Can we break the highs of the day? They're not so sure. There's some waiting there at the top, but some people want to sell it. There you go, 106. It seems to be, but for the day,
Market's moving back up. Tesla moving back up with it.
Like I said, the selling was overcooked over the week. I think it was silly. Too much cash on the sidelines.
They are deploying it. SMCI getting a nice little bounce today, up to 2.65%.
106.20 now there on Nvidia.
We'll say Super Microcomputers got a nice form of support here on the daily chart. You can see below it too.
The Cocoa trade up 3% now.
Silver getting back towards the highs of the day also.
It has been all about the silver trade. Um, there you go, ticking out 500, so we could see a little bit more of a push here. There you go. Nvidia just struggling at 106 there.
AMD up over 2% now. Can we have one of those rare days when all three indices are up over 1%?
It has been a rare day, yes. And we've seen the exact opposites in the Nasdaq up, Dow down, or vice
Yeah.
versa.
I mean, what we
Here we
are seeing.
go. Wholesale inventory is coming in. Looks like
We'll watch the Dow Jones, which is
yeah,
actually about.
wholesale 1.1%. Previous reading was minus 0.3. So that's trade. Actual here on inventories up 0.2%, expected 0.3%. To me, that means that there's a little not quite as much in the inventory. So that's not a bad thing. It's actually a kind of a not much there, to be honest with you. But sales were up a little bit. Wholesale sales were up. That means people are thinking that the people are still going to be buying, maybe preparing for the holiday season.
Hey, the Dow's moving up on it, so Dow likes that news. QQQ looks like everybody's looking like they like the news. Let's see, does that hold? Steve, we already hit the 10 o'clock hour, but we'll hold on 2 minutes here and see what happens here after that news hits, because we've seen the news cycle, affect the jittery traders here. So I'd like to keep you on if I can for another 3 minutes while we see what happens here.
I'm here, brother. I'm here. Dollar Dixie now 101.53 now.
And we're holding. Nvidia's back below 106 though. Let's see though. Trying to push up. Nvidia pushing back towards that 106. Here it goes. It's hitting it. Come
A
on.
little bit of selling there now in Bitcoin, and it's
Yeah, 55.6. That's okay. Again, I think that we're seeing, what it is it's stepping up to highs of the day on Bitcoin. You get some sell off, it drops back down, hits highs of the day, drops back down. That's actually pretty healthy.
with
See.
wholesale inventories with sales there. Inventories down a little bit and sales up a lot. It tells me that this could be good for chipsets coming in the future. They're thinking that we're going to be okay for computers in the near future, maybe the holiday season.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, 55,720 there. So another run here.
Yeah, like I said, I just though that's you're still seeing. Let's see, I haven't pulled up my Coinalyze here. See what liquidations look like this morning. Liquidations about 100 million. So take a quick look. I'll put it on the screen. Right now we're seeing shorts get liquidated. Let's pull it straight to Bitcoin though. Yeah, mostly shorts getting liquidated here, Steve. So you like to see that. Someone got a little too ambitious, but overall, shorts are getting liquidated, not longs. That will help the Bitcoin price move up. Right now, we're seeing for the last 4 hours about 63% of all liquidations are shorts. Let me throw that on.
Keep going with them. That's good. I'm glad to hear that.
At Bitcoin, it's 86%. So yeah, so shorts getting hit hard here by Bitcoin. Last hour, even more tremendous, about 98% of them short. So we are seeing that, that market still does, the perpetual future market still does move the needle. And it's also interesting, it still moves the needle in that 9 o'clock hour where, the U.S. trader isn't supposed to be really playing too much in that game. So it looks like they still are. Open interest up about 3% today, so not terrible there. 24-hour volume has been up a lot. So Bitcoin's got traders.
All right, let's take us home, Howard.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us this morning for Big Beat and myself, Howard Greenberg. We want to thank you for joining us. I will be back at 11:30 this morning with a look at the markets, and we'll see you then. Thank you so much.